So we'll welcome everybody to the last regular town board meeting scheduled for 2024 for the town of Webster. It is December 19th, 2024. Let's open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Charlie, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did he do roll call, please? Here.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Last time, present.
And this will go down in history as the Charlie Genesi board meeting. Okay? What we do not have on the agenda tonight is something that we would like the Honorable Town Attorney of many years, Charlie Genesi, to come up to the podium along with members of his family and friends. Yes, no, Barbara, you come on, we got it.
Barbara, you got it.
You got it.
You got it.
You got it. I don't want to put you on the spot, Barbara. I almost want you to read this. You can't read. Huh. That's interesting. Your husband's been trying to teach me how to read Latin for the last 5 years. Do I still have a C average in your class in Latin?
Oh, you got it.
I've gotten better? Okay, not pro ton. Well, listen, I will say, everybody who is watching live at home or is here in the audience or is watching this on tape, Charlie Genesi has been the town attorney in Webster for, is it close to 30 years, Charlie?
40?
Well, yeah, you know, in dog years.
Actually, 26.
26. Okay, well, I rounded up. And I got to say that, you know, I didn't meet Charlie until 5 years ago when I became supervisor. Just a super guy, a super human being. He's been great. I think what he's done for this town is something you can't really, you can't quantify. But with that being said, we have a proclamation for you, Charlie, for outstanding public service. And this is presented to Charles Genesi, and I'm going to read it the best I can in English, not in Latin. We have a Latin version for you to, you know, later on, Charlie. But whereas Charles Genesi is retiring in December of 2024 after 29 years of dedicated service to the town of Webster, and whereas Charlie, as he's affectionately known, was on the staff of the Legal Aid Society in Rochester from September 1972 to November of 1976. He served as an assistant attorney general in the Rochester Regional Office of the New York State Department of Law from November of 1976 to June of 1978. Charlie was then hired by Monroe County and held various titles. He was promoted to deputy county attorney in 1988. And whereas Charlie served in the United States Air Force and was honorably discharged, we thank him for his service to our country. And whereas between January of 1990 and March of 1996, Charlie served as the town of Webster through the Zoning Board of Appeals as a member, secretary, and acting chairman. On August 6, 1998, he was appointed town attorney and has been in the position through his coming retirement. And whereas Charlie's comprehension of the many projects through the years and his institutional knowledge have been invaluable to all the staff in the town of Webster, and whereas Charlie's compassion for people is palpable and is seen in his various positions, including counsel to the Monroe County Children's Center and Social Services Council, and pro bono work he has done for the Just Cause organization since 1998. And whereas Charlie's long and accomplished career in public service has been supported by his wife Barbara and their 2 children, Amanda and Charles, he has served not only as town attorney, but also as a trusted advisor and true friend to all. Charlie's tireless work and commitment to the town of Webster have not gone unnoticed. His engaging laughter and kind smile will be remembered fondly as he retires. Now therefore, be it resolved that on the occasion of Charles Genesi's retirement as the supervisor of the town of Webster, on behalf of the Webster Town Board and the entire Webster community, we extend our sincerest wishes to Charlie for a long, happy, and healthy retirement. It is my honor to pronounce December 20th, 2024 as Charles Genesi Day in the town of Webster.
As has been said, if you want to give a good speech, be sincere, be brief, and be seated, so I'm going to make this real quick. It's been a blessing to me, to be honest, to work with all of you. There's a lot of really fine people that I've worked with over the years, and many of them are right here in this room. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that I've had. That's all I can say. It's a terrific group of individuals, talented individuals, 3 terrific supervisors. The town is very well governed, very well administered by talented, hardworking, and incorruptible people. So, anyway, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. And Barbara, I hope you don't mind that, as I was reading that, retirement, I don't see Charlie as retired because where the position of town attorney is, I think, a pseudo full-time position. Charlie's still, I think, going to be doing legal work for the town of Webster, correct?
Correct.
So I know Donna Komar, who was up presenting earlier, really is happy with the work that we've done over the years for the Board of Assessment Review, which is more in the May, June timeframe. And I don't know, Barbara, if you guys are going south in January and February, but we're, I think, getting something from him about what his scope of work he'll be doing is going to be. We are expecting that. We don't see you as riding off into the sunset.
That's true.
Okay, so just so everybody's on the same page,
Yes.
you're going to still see his smile and all that. But probably a lot less stress.
I will tell you, though, when we were reading all that, I was thinking, this really dates me. There used to be a show called This Is Your Life.
Oh, I remember.
That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
I was up there. So.
No, I mean, that's, well, and I will say one last thing on this. The position of a town attorney is something that over the years for larger towns, and Webster is definitely a larger town, has kind of gone by the wayside because law firms now handle the legal demands of a town this size, 45,000 people, and the different complexities and all that. So, in a lot of ways, Charlie, you're the last of the Mohicans. I don't know who was town attorney before, but us moving into a law practice that has 3 people doing the job you used to do.
You was, but you've seen it in your years. You've seen the explosion of breadth and depth of projects in towns.
Yeah.
You know, that everybody who's worked here is saying the same thing. So yeah, it's a different job.
It would have to be. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of attorneys in my business and all that. And I used to, Barbara, I'm sorry, I joke with Charlie that, Charlie, are you getting paid like 37 cents an hour for the time you're putting in? I hope you don't have a workers' comp, or not comp. But yeah, you're not going to have.
It's going up to 75.
There you go. As long as you know. I think the funniest part is that you had to redline and look at the new law firm's contract and tell me, I don't sign anything that is a contract without Charlie looking at it. I just won't do that. So now, when Charlie puts his proposal forward for his legal services, the new law firm will look at it and tell me if it's okay. They just switched hats. He had to look at the new law firms and tell me what was okay and not. 10 days later, they would look at yours. It's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
So anyway, I won't belabor the point, John. I don't want to use the back.
Excuse me, Supervisor.
Yes.
As they switched hats,
Yeah,
It's on,
and,
so.
you know, boy, Kyle is gonna have to know, if Kyle Taylor's gonna be sitting in that seat as more general municipal, you're gonna coach him on the fact that you're gonna have to wear good ties, Kyle. You're gonna have to be seasonal and whatever.
A good tie collection, yes.
You're not.
Maybe I've been talking to my.
You know, that's one way to make a buck in retirement. Anyway, well, let's continue on with the Charlie Genesi board meeting. I didn't go out and look through, and we had nobody signed in for the next section, the open to the floor where the speakers allowed up to 5 minutes to go on anything, but I'm guessing unless someone's behind the beam, I think that is, everybody's out Christmas shopping. So, Deneen, do you think we can say we are done with that? Okay, Dean keeps on tradition, that we have 2 minutes, for board meeting minutes, workshop meeting from 2 weeks ago. And I will read those minutes, I make a motion that we approve the December 5th workshop.
Second.
Supervisor Larry?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Vitale? Aye. Councilman Wynn? Aye. Councilman Wright? Aye.
And the same, I looked at the minutes of the December 5th, 2024 regular board meeting, and make a motion to approve those.
Second. Supervisor Larry?
Aye.
Councilman Wynn? Aye. Councilman Vitale? Aye. Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Wright? Aye.
John, was this you again?
It was. So I did review the bills and found them to be in order, and I would move that we pay the bills as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Wynn? Aye. Supervisor Larry?
Aye.
Councilman Vitale? Aye. Councilwoman Wright? Aye.
And I went through the prepaid warrants, as submitted by Paul Adams, Director of Finance, and make a motion to approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Larry?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Vitale? Aye. Councilman Wynn? Aye. Councilman Wright? Aye.
And I also went with the purchase orders, as submitted by Paul Adams, Director of Finance, and make a motion to approve those.
Second. Supervisor Larry?
Aye.
Councilwoman Vitale? Aye. Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Wynn? Aye. Councilwoman Wright? Aye.
Now, the next two, I feel like I'm stepping in Paul's position too much tonight. The next two resolutions have to do with the soft costs associated with the Sandbar Park restaurant. And I just want to give some context to this. At the board meeting on March 21st of this year, about 9 months ago, we actually passed two resolutions. They were Resolution 129 of 2024. They have Pastor Associates provide architectural design services for the proposed restaurant, and the contract ends to exceed $118,500. And then we also did Resolution 128 for 2024 on that same date for campus construction and their services. Well, I think if anybody who watches these workshops and board meetings and attends over the last 9 months, we've had a lot of presentations and workshops and things of that nature. We had the bids that were open, 20 of them back in October on this restaurant. And, unfortunately, the price was a little too much. Because of that, these resolutions are to close out those contracts. We did not reach the full price of those contracts with those two firms, probably because we are not proceeding on with the project at this time. And I want to stress that at this time. A brick and mortar, affixed to a foundation, John, you're more the construction person. It just, 20 bids is a very robust bid process, and it does not make sense at this time. Whether it makes sense again in a year, 5 years, I can't comment on that. But I do know that I think there's a lot of enthusiasm for once we get out of the holidays, in January, February of next year, to look at options for food and or drink at Sandbar Park as early as the summer of 2025. But it's not going to be a building that's affixed to a foundation or brick and mortar. So, as we know, I won't get into details. There's a lot of other options that you can sling hash and serve ice cream drinks without having a permanent building. So we'll see where that goes. But any questions on these 4 and 5? I made a motion to close out the campus construction management, pre-construction bid development on the restaurant building at Sandbar Park, and have.
You can't do that motion because you have to sign the contract.
I think that's a misnomer. I don't have to sign anything. I think we just
Just
are.
close it out, right?
Yeah, sorry. There is no contract to sign. I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure if you had to sign and close out the contract.
I don't think so. But you know what? Somebody else wants to do it.
I will move to close out the campus construction management to do pre-construction bid development of the restaurant building at Sandbar Park and have the supervisor sign the contract.
Second. Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Webb? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Wright? Aye.
So I'll move to close out the Sarah Associates to do the engineering design of the restaurant building at Sandbar Park and have the supervisor sign the contract.
Second.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Webb? Aye.
Pat, do you want to come up and say anything about these? I know this is kind of a housekeeping item almost every December of what roads are at point are temporary and permanent.
Yeah, kind of a housekeeping thing, but I can answer any questions. So each year, the developments that go on in town, where there's new houses that get put in, new roads get built by the contractors. If those roads get to a certain point of construction, there's going to be people living on them. We take either temporary or full dedication of them so that we can provide mostly snow plowing services. At that time, they're usually still under a certain level of construction, so a lot of the maintenance remains the responsibility of the contractor. And we take over snow removal services to ensure that they're done at the right level to ensure public safety. So this is the list for this year. We do developments around town where it makes sense at this time to take over those aspects of the road. So those are the things to complete that. For the last meeting of the year. But we had it, and that way when the snow does come, we're ready to go.
Thanks, Pat. Nope.
If there are no questions, I will move to accept temporary dedication of roads within the town of Webster. There was an attached list that was included in the packet, I presume, and also
Yes.
on the website, so I will not read the
Yeah.
list. There are six roads where we are taking temporary dedication.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Webb? Aye. And I would move to accept permanent dedication of roads within the town of Webster. Attached list, there are four roads. Last Grand Meadow Way, Belfry Drive, Melissa Way, Allison Lane. Second. Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Councilwoman Webb? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
And Pat, I don't want to put you on the spot, but these temporary and permanent are about a mile and a half of aggregate lane miles. How many lane miles does your department maintain in Webster?
So for winter operations, so for no snow and ice, because we contract with the county and the state to do snow and ice removal on their roads that are within our limits. That lane mile is over 400 lane miles within the boundaries of the town, not including the village, about 400 lane miles. About 276 of those are town roads, which is what these dedications are. These mileages get reported with the state DOT, and it does impact funding that the town gets, both chips and compensation for snow and ice removal. So that's the importance of having that information in here and getting it reported in the record is Allison actually just today sent in our winter proposal, which is about 2 or 3 inches thick, to each of those agencies for us to perform those services. And it adjusts the amount of revenue that the town gets depending on the lane miles. But yeah, over 400 lane miles, which we're operating on an 18 truck route, so we can clear all 400 of those miles in generally less than 4 hours at a time, which when it's snowing 2 inches an hour, it's still too slow, but you know,
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Okay, let's just put it out there. It's pretty impressive.
It's unbelievable, and what, 130 cul-de-sacs would really challenge it, because if there weren't the circles, the cul-de-sacs were built, you probably could get through those lane miles a lot quicker.
yeah, you get a lot more lane miles going down 104 than you do Detroit neighborhoods in an hour, that's for sure.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Well, the next one, it's sewer related, and this was the presentation by Aaron Ryan earlier.
I was certainly willing to read this. We don't have a dollar amount on this because we don't know where it's going to fall, whether they're going to look at it as an emergency, look at it as an emergency or not. But we'll still be looking at estimates, I assume, once we get the permitting done. So we'll know whether we're going out to bid or we're looking at 2 different companies. You're going to bring a recommendation to us either way, correct?
That's correct, right? The first step would be to do this emergency resolution and also to sign the agreement with the
Right. So then later we will be looking at approving the cost of such emergency repair, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So I would move to authorize an emergency repair fixed project on the Shipbuilder Creek sanitary sewer conveyance pipe.
Second.
Councilwoman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilman Webb.
So Jennifer, this is yours, but before we do it, is there any way, I do need to lose some weight. Should I go to 15,000 doors in 2025 as part of the PR education and the revaluation? Or Charlie, do you suggest that that would not be good?
I would suggest that for the quarterly newsletter, when we talked about putting it in, maybe a couple of the quarterly issues, that it actually be the cover of it. Because we all know what happens when people see, you got about 3 seconds before you toss it if you're not interested. So big bold letters. Yes.
Where did Bridget go?
Well, if you walk that far, I think you would live more than 25 pounds. I think I lost 15 pounds. I went like that.
So we'll figure that out as we get through it. Let's authorize them.
Well, I want to be honest, like when the other supervisors are like, you'll never be able to avoid this and that, I'm competitive, I'm like, oh yeah, watch us.
Yeah, that's
Watch Webster
all they
be
need
the
to say.
shining beacon of how to do it and have it just kind of go very smooth.
I hope you're right.
Okay. Yeah. Jennifer?
So I would move to have the supervisor sign a contract by December 31st, 2024 with KLW Municipal Incorporated.
I was curious about that because we have 411,500,
Yeah.
but then there could be extras, so.
We had talked that over, we said, do the best receipt 411, because we can always come back later to amend,
Okay.
whether it'll be used ARPA money when we amend for those other things, Paul wasn't really sure, but.
I'll
Yeah,
second
so-
the motion.
Thank you. Councilman Wright. Aye. Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Councilwoman Webb.
Second.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Cleary?
Aye.
Councilwoman Capelli?
Aye.
Councilman
Aye. And I would move to approve the following for recycling from the sewer department. Again, we have the list in front of us. There are 4 items. That's my motion.
Second. Councilwoman Capelli?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright? Aye. Supervisor Cleary?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Wright? Aye.
All right, I should have got Councilman Gale today, but we're not done yet.
Coulda, shoulda.
Woulda, shoulda, you know, I mean, ifs and buts, skinny and nuts, right? I do get a kick out of the fact that, you know, I bet you Charlie, his first board meeting 28 years ago, was very specific on everything. Now his last board meeting is, you don't have to read it. You don't have to read it. It's a nuclear reactor, don't worry about it, you know?
It was an Electrolux small refrigerator. Do they even make those anymore?
I think that you made the right call, Charlie. You know, that was a seasoned sage
I
advice.
want to say something though about the reval, about perception, because people always refer to the assessors, the tax assessor, which they are not. It's going to be a major thing. They have nothing to do with taxes per se, okay? The other thing is, if you saw, and I need to point it out, but our official newspaper, if you saw the headline today, and what did they say? They talked about,
Tax.
they showed a picture, they referenced to taxes.
Yes, property tax.
Property tax, it has nothing to do with property. I mean, it does indirectly, but and this is where your education.
Misconception. Right.
People have to be educated as to what exactly the assessment does to the tax. It's not increased taxes.
Because Councilman Cahill said, you know, that in years past, and he's right, you know, the elected officials would come out and say, hey, we lowered your tax rate from $5 per thousand to $3 per thousand. But then they found that to be a great way to go and increase your taxes.
You're absolutely right. And not to be cynical, but that's exactly.
Yes, that was the level.
Right.
You can't really do that anymore because the 2% tax cap, if your levy goes up more than 2% or whatever each year, that's kind of like we gotta get a super majority. I mean, that's an event. You can't just slide it in like, you know, hey, we'll bring in $10 million more in taxes, but we'll tell the community, well, we lowered your tax rate.
We did.
No, well, it's roundtable, but we could just have it be the Charlie Genesi hour.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you know what, Joe? That's
That's
Charlie,
right.
come on, man. It's some funny stories over the last 20 minutes. You know, you've seen some stuff. I mean, you know.
I never realized until this evening that you were in the Air Force.
Only a very short time. It was only a very short time. It's a strange situation. I was ROTC in college.
You were what?
ROTC.
Gotcha.
So I was commissioned the day I graduated from college. But because I was going to law school, they allowed me not to
Nice.
go in right away. When I finished law school, they were de-Vietnamizing the war. Okay? There was a very large commitment of mostly men, personnel in the military between 1971 and 72. They started pushing people out basically. So they said, well, you can go in and give you the option. You can go in for 4 years and you can come in for 3 months. So.
What?
Yeah.
How long did you think about that?
Yeah. So, you can guess what I did. Yeah. So, I mean, I was in, it's almost, when I talked, I have a lot of friends who are, what I say, real veterans. Okay? So I tell them, I said, I am. I was in ROTC for a number of years.
There's
I
dedication.
was enlisted.
Well, you got commissioned out as
I got the honorable
first
discharge.
lieutenant
Yeah.
or second lieutenant? Is that?
No, I was actually, by the time I got out, I was commissioned as second lieutenant. I was actually in camp.
How'd you do that?
Wow.
Because I was just in it. Like I say, it's not anything, I didn't accomplish anything. I'm saying this honestly. I didn't get something over my accomplishments.
Captain Janeski, how did you know
Yeah.
it, you know?
The
But I-
things you find
The
out.
things you found out, and
I
I
know,
will
like I
say
say,
that,
but it's almost embarrassing because I have so many maybe my comment on the World War II. My grandfather was a World War I veteran, so I'm like almost embarrassed to say that. Yeah, it was-
I bet you your father and grandfather would be very happy to do that.
I think you're correct. My father definitely was.
It is, see, it's funny. You know, 3 of my daughters have done the ROTC thing out, and what they do with those second lieutenants when they come out now, they train them for a year, leadership, whatever, and it all goes back to, they were sending these second lieutenants, 22 years old, coming out of college, over to Vietnam and saying,
There you
lead
go.
this troop, lead this, what do you call it?
Well,
SWAT.
Yeah.
Right? And like, these guys have been over there for a year, and you got this pimply-faced 22-year-old kid coming over, trying to tell them what to do. That was a disaster. And I think the military learned from that and said, you know, we can't just throw some 22-year-old, you know, who's been at West Point or in college into that. We have to kind of bring them up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they've made a lot of improvements, I think.
Yeah.
Things will be there, which is, we could go on.
Yeah. Crazy.
But I really enjoy all of them.
Well, Charlie, I've known you for a number of years, and I just thank you for all the advice you've given me over the years. You know,
Some of
to you is
some of it legal, too.
yes, yeah. I just really appreciate your friendship, your candor, and again, the advice you gave me over the years. You're a very honest and sincere person, and I think that's what most people that know you glean from you. You're very easygoing, so thank you.
Some people may disagree with that.
Well, I think, and Johnny's been a great referee for you and I at times.
Yes, he
And our
has.
Irish tempers get the
Yeah.
best of us, and he's had a step in between, which, you know, is probably really good. We appreciate that, Johnny. Both of us are too old to be throwing punches. Thank
I've
you.
I've missed this, Charlie. And also, over the years, you know, almost 2 decades to know each other, but still, you know, your lovely wife still with the same, so it's an honor and privilege, you know, for you to be with me. I appreciate that.
You're all too kind.
I get in trouble with HR. I'm not gonna out you on your age, but I remember when I found out your age, it's something in the water here, because like Paul Adams, I didn't say what his age is. Does he look his age? Paul Adams looks like he was 40. And I couldn't believe, because you look and act 20 years ago.
That's what I act like a mature kid when I was a kid.
Well,
My parents would tell me, and so I continue.
It's worked well for you.
Second childhood.
Well, there's something to say for staying engaged and continuing to work and stay active.
Yes.
How important that is for your health and staying.
Charlie, it's been an absolute honor. It's been a delight to sit next to you for all of these meetings. I valued your advice. And most importantly, I value our friendship. And I know that we'll still see each other,
Oh, we will.
absolutely. And I certainly wish you and Art nothing but the best as you dip your toe into retirement.
And I don't care what your legal advice is that I have to close out the meeting. I'm not. It's going to be your call.
Thank you. All right, well, this meeting is